everybody, how are you? Welcome back for another lesson with me, Ms.Wich. Last week we talked about color theory and we created the color wheel. And we added on to that color wheel of just our regular primary and secondary colors by creating intermediate colors. So those are the colors that were in the middle of that primary and secondary. Now, you might have remembered doing that already when we were in school, when we were in 4th grade. I wanted to refresh your memories in case you had forgotten, or maybe some of you didn't know that at all. So we're going to move on now, and in 5th grade, you need to know your last color grouping. So that color group is called analogous colors. And analogous colors are colors that sit next to each other on the color wheel. And I have that definition there. And I also have my example of the color wheel. So when you talk about analogous colors, you need to know your intermediate colors. And that's why I wanted to start off with that first. Because what you're going to do with analogous colors is start with a primary color. And then you're going to go in order next to the colors that are next to one another up until the next primary color. So for example, if I start with the primary color yellow, my analogous color group can go to the right and stop before I go to the blue. So I would have yellow, yellow-green, green, and blue-green in that analogous color grouping. Or I could go in the other direction. I can start with yellow and I could go towards the red. So I would have yellow, yellow-orange, orange, and red-orange in that analogous color group. It's really up to you which primary color you want to start with and then either move to the right or to the left. So again, if I start with blue, my analogous colors can be the 4 colors, including the blue, going up to yellow, or I can have blue going to the red. So analogous colors, again, have that primary color in common, and they all kind of blend together. They look nice. It's a nice, harmonious, unified group. Finally, if I had red, my color, analogous colors can be red, violet, violet, blue, violet, or I can have red, red, orange, orange, and yellow, orange. So what we're going to do for our next holiday project is I'm going to show you sorry, my video got cut off. So we're going to be making step-by-step holiday candy canes. And those candy canes are going to be done in analogous colors. So you're going to need to make a stencil first of a candy cane. You're going to repeat your stencil a few times because there are, like I just showed you, different analogous color groupings. You're going to pick 3 of those color groups that you'd like. And I'll explain it a little bit further when I show you on the paper, drawing this step by step. Because this is a little bit more detailed project and it's a nice fun holiday project, I really want you to take your time, not rush, and this will be due in 2 weeks. Okay, so we're gonna go get started with that stencil making of our candy canes and analogous colors. Okay, boys and girls, welcome back. So here's what we're gonna do for our candy cane analogous colors. We need to first start, so I'm going to have my white piece of paper and I'm going to put that off to the side because what I need to do first is make a stencil. But you want to make sure, I told you that you're going to make at least 3 candy canes. If you want to do more and overlap them, that's fine. But you want to make your candy cane big enough that you are going to be able to fit 3 of them. So, and not look too tiny, and otherwise you won't be able to fit all those analogous colors. So when I start to draw my candy cane stencil, I like to just kind of sketch it out first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the side of my candy cane and make my vertical lines first, like so. And I'm going to make sure that my candy cane now, after I do this, I'm going to connect it with to the curves. I'm going to come down. I want to make sure that my bottom of the candy cane is about here. So I'm just going to make that curve first, and I'm going to make another curve at the end. I want to skip a decent amount of space, even amount of space, and I know I want the other part of my candy cane there. So now it'll be easier for me just to go up and connect it to that line over here. Okay, if I need to go back, I could always go back and fix it. And I'm going to drag this one down to make sure it touches that curve line. This vertical is going to come down to touch that one that I drew. And now I know I need to make my top going from here, this side, to the other side. So again, I could just lightly, I could bring this up a little bit, make the top with a down curve, and make it touch to there.
and connect all these kind of sketching lines. Now, if there's something that you don't like, I like maybe this could have came up a little bit higher. That's the good thing about a stencil, because it really doesn't matter until you start to cut it out. So after you go and make your stencil and you think that's a pretty decent size, then you're going to go in and cut it out. Now, after you cut this out, don't just start drawing right away. I want you to take your stencil and I want you to play around with the arrangement. You can make your candy canes overlap one another. You can make them all going in the same direction. They can be on diagonals, vertical, horizontal. I don't care. It's up to you. I can't wait to see what everybody comes up with, and that's what'll make them all unique and different, is that you all have your own ideas of how to do this. Again, you don't have to follow me exactly with my arrangement. I want you to be creative and come up with yours. Now, when you go to draw this as well, you can have candy canes going one way, or flip it over and you could have your candy cane going in another direction by flipping it. So I want you to go and take your stencil now. Like I said, play around with it. Do you want them all going the same way? Do you want some here and then flip like a pattern? You can make it look random, like candy canes fell all over your paper and they were going in all different random directions. So I want you to go in and draw your candy canes, probably 3, or definitely 3. You could even go and do a few more if you'd like. It depends on if you want to go and explore more analogous colors. I'm going to trace mine and then I'll come back and show you how to do the next part. Okay, so you can see that I took a more of a random approach where my candy canes kind of look like they're spilt all over my paper. Because I did that, I wanted to make sure that I had good composition. Composition is how things are arranged on your paper. If I just left it with my 4 that I had done, definitely if I left it with 3, I would have too much empty space. So I needed to fill that in. So that's why I put my 4th one in there. And then I still thought it looked a little empty, so I went and put half of them, I put some coming off the page, at the top, and only doing bits and pieces just to, again, fill up that empty negative space. You also see that I did some overlapping, which is our space techniques, and brought that into it as well. So now what I'm going to do is come up with my design of how I want to color this using my analogous colors. So when you go and draw your stripes for your candy cane, you can again have them in different directions, different ways. You don't have to just color this whole thing in, and I definitely don't want you just coloring it in very quickly. Your 5th graders, I am expecting more of a design quality from you. So I'm going to just go now and I'm going to draw some lines for my different candy canes, and that way they look a little bit different. So now I'm finished making my lines for all my candy canes, and I'm actually going to just take a break here for a second because I want to show you and explain again about the analogous colors. And here is my suggestion, that you take a piece of paper, take a scrap paper, and write down your color group so you know exactly what you want in your candy canes. And that way it helps kind of plan out, get a little bit more organized of how you want to arrange your colors. So I told you that analogous colors go from one primary color to the next primary color. It stops before it gets to that primary color. So if I start with yellow, and I'm just going to block this out, the analogous colors, if you choose the primary color yellow, would include the yellow and every other color that has yellow in it. So yellow, yellow green, green, and blue green. And that's why you stop before it gets to the blue. So if you want one of your candy canes to be that color, I suggest you write that down then. Write down that you want yellow, yellow green. I could just put, green, and then blue green. And that is your first candy cane pattern. So do that for yourself so you know. And actually, I would love it then if you wrote on the back your 3 color groupings that you did that I can see in your candy cane. So that is the first one, and I know I'm going to make this candy cane my yellow, yellow, green, green, and blue, green. Now how you arrange those colors can be up to you. Maybe you want yellow for all of your stripes, and then in between I would have yellow, green here, the green and blue, green. You could do something like that. I'm going to come up and get creative as I go along. But before I do that, I need to finish picking what my other colors will be. So if you want that, now say my next color I want to start with, it's always best to pick your primary color. So I'm actually going to go over here. I love doing this one. So I'm going to go with my red. I'm going to start with my red violet. Now I'm just going to write the letters. Red, red, violet, violet, and blue violet. That's what I'm going to put in my next candy cane. And then in my other candy cane, my last candy cane, I am going to start with my blue. I'm trying to get at least one primary color each. So I started with yellow, and I did analogous colors that had yellow. I did a red, and now I'm going to go to blue. And now that I'm choosing blue, even though, because I started with yellow and I chose these colors to do the green, yellow, green, green, and blue, green, if I do blue, I'm going to have the same colors, but now I'm not going to include the yellow over here. Or if I choose like so, okay, it would go like that. If I choose blue and I go towards the red, well, yes, I'm going to have the same colors again like I did over here when I chose the red, and I would have blue, blue, violet, violet, and red, violet. So it will end up being the same. It's because I have that other primary color, and I actually like my greens. So I'm going to go the blue, blue, green, green, and yellow, green for my third candy cane. And then luckily I have a lot more candy canes. I have that fourth larger candy cane. So I do want to get my oranges in here. So for my last one, I will be doing, I ran out of scrap paper here. I will be doing my, I do like the red. So I'm going to do the red, red, orange, orange, and yellow, orange. So those are going to be my 4 colors now that I'm going to include in my 4 main candy canes. And then for the other ones, again, I could repeat any of these. I can do another combination of something that I didn't use yet. That'll be up to you. But again, you need to pick your analogous colors. If you only want to do, each primary color, you could do that and repeat. It'll end up repeating. That's fine. Otherwise, it will look very colorful. So I'm going to speed up my video as I go and start coloring this. Boys and girls, I think it would be best for this project that you use colored pencils. I forgot to mention that before, sorry. So if you don't have colored pencils, you could use crayons. Crayons are going to be harder. They're a little bit thicker, especially that we have smaller details. So a colored pencil would work the best because it will allow you to get in those smaller details. And again, you'll have a range of color. Okay, so there you go. My first one is done with those colors that I told you, and I marked them off too, so I didn't get confused as I am creating it, the yellow, yellow, green, green, and blue, green, and I kept it nice and organized. I'm going to go in now. I'm going to color in the rest. I'm just going to show you my finished product, but I want you to keep in mind, as you're coloring, to follow the shape of this. It has curves. Even when I was drawing the lines for the stripes, I went in a little bit of a curved direction because that's what will take on the shape of this and make it look like it's round and more realistic. So do the same thing as you're coloring. Make sure you color in that kind of curved direction and on a diagonal. Stay nice and neat in your lines, and that's actually too why I put the paper under my hand. It started to smudge some of my other pencil over here, so I want to be nice and neat with this. Take your time and go ahead, get started. Okay guys, so there it is. There's my finished product of my analogous color candy canes. and in all different patterns. Again, this was my yellow, green, green, blue, green. I had my red, violet, violet, blue, violet, blue, blue, green, green, and yellow, green, and then red, orange, orange, and yellow, orange. And then all the rest I filled in with some of my extras. Okay, guys, I can't wait to see what you create. Remember to be neat with your work, be creative with your patterns, your arrangement. And again, this is a 2-week project because it will take you a while to do a very nice, neat job. And again, get ready for our holidays. Okay, can't wait to see what you make. Bye, guys.